Now, on this question of prejudice, perhaps we ought to start out by trying to define what you think prejudices are. What do you think prejudice is, Ratnati?
No, I think prejudice is a feeling of hate of people as a group or individual toward other people.
You say a feeling of hate. Do you think prejudice is as strong as hate?
Yes. When there is somebody, if he has a prejudice, then the answer will be, I hate such and such.
Well, I suppose that is true. What do you think prejudice is, Eureka?
Well, I have found that if somebody distinguishes between two white men, it is not prejudice. But if somebody distinguishes between a white man and a colored man, it is prejudice.
I would define prejudice as a rigid opinion formed about a certain thing before there has been a just examination of the facts.
When a person loses track of the dignity of the human soul and begins to judge others not on the basis of their being persons, but on the basis of race, creed, economic status, that is prejudice.
Well, is it fair to ask you whether you have any prejudices?
Well, I guess so, Mrs. Waller, and being brutally frank, I'm prejudiced against Japanese. Well, not to the extent that I hate them, no, not that way. But I got this, well, as a result of World War II. Because, well, I guess I was yet too young to understand what happened during those times. But I think that what my relatives and friends and the people who were witness to that unfaithful occasion, well, they just more than justify the fact. And I think it's justified for me to feel the same way because, well, I know that my people suffered very much under that rule.
Poetic Radio, it's your boy Rennie Renz. What I'm playing for you guys is a clip. You could actually find this on YouTube. If you search up 1956 high school debate on prejudice, it's actually really alarming and cool to see a group full of young students from all these different races, Indonesia, Philippines, Japan, UK, India, and they're all talking amongst themselves about all these important topics. 1956, it's actually really alarming and really cool to see that back then they would get a room full of all these different international students to speak together about the same topic.
You still as prejudiced against the Japanese as you were?
Well, 5 years ago, that prejudice of mine was, slightly fading away. But when Japan stubbornly refused to pay reparations to us, well, the prejudice began to brew again. But now I found out from close contact with Yuriko and other Japanese that Japan isn't ready to pay reparations yet, because as Yuriko said, some of them, and most of them, even have to suffer the cold in the classrooms because they can't afford to heat the schools.
Yuriko, you've got any prejudices?
Well, I don't have any prejudice for Philippines, but many Japanese people hate Korea because the president of Korea made the line, his own line, on the public sea between Korea and Japan.
Poetic Radio, Rennie Renz coming at you live. Music you got here in is Kairos, straight out of Van City, the big homie, much love, dog. He dropped his mixtape called Orcupus, which is on Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. You can find it everywhere. Much love to everybody out there listening. Enjoy the music.